Good morning. So I just literally got up because I wanted to go ahead and um, film a video where since I'm off the next 2 days, just do a video where I talk about what I'm gonna read on these next 2 days. Unless of course I get called in because unfortunately I have a job like that where they can actually call me to come in. But like I said, I just got up, so that's why I'm still in my PJs and I don't know what I want to wear. Not that it matters because I'm not going anywhere today. I'm going to hang out around the house because one, it's raining, and two, I just do basically because it's raining. So, but I wanted to go ahead and film this. Plus, I feel like I need to get up a little earlier than my 9 o'clock rise hour. An hour I normally. Sorry. Again, I'm tired. I'm still kind of groggy this morning. But I get up at 9 every morning, and like I feel like a routine is something good to establish. So I've decided to. I keep thinking about like trying to get up even earlier, like at least an hour earlier, like just doing it slowly and steadily. But I've been getting up at 9 for a long time now, so this is a first. Well, not exactly a first, because I've gotten up at 8. I have chosen to get up at 8, because sometimes I'll get up at 8 just because, if I have an appointment or we want to leave the house for like a trip at a certain time, then yeah, I'll get up early. But anyway, I'm just going to talk about my reading. So, last night, or I should say midnight today, because I guess as soon as it hits midnight the next day, I did read a little bit more of The Female Persuasion. This was one of those things where, like, I started this a while back, but then I was also in the middle of Crooked Kingdom, and I wanted to get that one done. But then this was a book my mom had bought for me online, and I remember her asking one time if I actually had started reading it yet, and I was feeling bad about that. So, but again, I was also reading Crooked Kingdom, and I was feeling like, okay, I got to get Crooked Kingdom done. So I kept going back and forth on which one I needed to read first. So finally, earlier this month, I ended up reading Crooked Kingdom and finishing that finally, and I really enjoyed it, and I'll talk about it. I'm gonna do a wrap up this month. And now I can get back to this one, and of course, the tassel bookmark is starting to fall apart. See, that's why the only problem is, even though they have cute little images on these tassel bookmarks, the little tassel part will fall apart for some reason, which is really annoying. Although I think that one might have been doing that for a while, because it's green tassels, and I've seen these on the floor, unless it's a different bookmark with green tassels that I have, or used to have. I mean, I still have the bookmark, but the tassels are gone. So this is Meg Wolitzer's The Female Persuasion, and it is basically about this young college woman, like early 20s, late teens, in college age, and when she goes to college, she finds out from her housemate, or her hallmate, about this woman, Faith Frank, who is a feminist, and she's I think that Jen from Insert Literary Pun compared her to Gloria Steinem type of person, and she ends up our main character, Greer is her name. She ends up getting a job at Faith Frank's feminist magazine. And her doing this becomes, Greer being part of this starts to affect her relationships with her boyfriend, with her friends and family, and it's all about that. And we've also have other points of view throughout the story, like we have a point of view of her boyfriend, Corey, and what's going on with his life, and the things that kind of drove a wedge between him and Greer, not just her being part of this group, but a personal tragedy in his life. and unfortunately, it's just in Greer and Corey are going in different directions. And then through her hallmate who got her into this and introduced her to this woman, was the one who was the fan of this woman and wanted to be part of her magazine, but Greer, being selfish and not wanting to share faith, did not insist on Faith letting her friend join the group. So now, unfortunately, her friend is having to find her own way, get her own job and stuff like that. And now she's actually got a job at I think it would be an inner city school in, I want to say, Chicago. So it's just, and right now we are in chapter 8. We are in the point of view of Faith Frank and kind of learning her background a little bit more, and seeing her relationship with her son and how it's not exactly full of roses, that relationship. And we learned her background and how her parents insisted that she stay home and not go away to college because they were very protective of her and were worried about her. So she's kind of resented the fact that her twin brother got to go away to school and she had to stay home to protect her, to stay safe. And she also, when her and her friend go to Vegas, her friend has sex with a guy and the guy gets her pregnant, but then she is the one that is judged for being the nurses when they're trying to give her the abort her baby. She is the one that is judged for it, and they're calling her a slut, and they're saying you deserve this. And so I think all this stuff going on in Faith's life, we're basically realizing that this is what defines the woman she is when Greer meets her. So it's a very good. I'm really enjoying it, and it's not a book that I would normally read, but I'm really liking it. And if my sister had the time, I think she would find this book very interesting too. But anyway, I do want to remake Meg Wolitter's other book, The Interestings, and I keep seeing that when I was going to the library regularly, I kept seeing it there. But the book is as pretty thick, and it's probably the same size as this one. And because I would keep checking out a lot of books at the library, and as I've done other videos where I mention the fact that it drives me crazy, because I know that I have a certain amount of time where I have to return the books, or at least borrow them at the library. And even though, yes, I can keep checking them out technically, and my library it's a small town, so there aren't a lot of books that, there's a list of who's checking out the books. But it's still, because I know that at some point I do have to return it, it gives me, it makes me uncomfortable, because I know that eventually I have to return it. And a book this length will take me a while to read. Not as long as this one, because if it's a library book, I can probably read it straight through. Because I want to get it finished, at least half of it done, before the 2-week time frame before I have to recheck it out. But because, of course, this is a book I don't have to return to anyone, I took a little bit longer to read this, and I took a really long break in between readings. But I'm going to work on this today. Now, the book I'm hoping to finish before the end of the month is The Falconer by Elizabeth May. This I might read today. I don't know. I might not read it. I might read the Female Persuasion today. I don't know if I will or not. But I'm definitely gonna read this one today because, like I just said, I want to get this done by the end of the month. Because I usually, if I set my mind to it, I can get a young adult book read within a week. Because they're usually pretty fast paced, and the chapters are incredibly short. Although there are some long chapters in this book. But this is the first in a trilogy, and I think it's the author's debut. Yep. This Sarah J. Maas's blurb refers to it as a sparkling debut. This is about a young girl, it's in Scotland. Eilina, I don't know if I'm saying her name right. She kills Faye, and it started because a Fae killed her mom. So now she hunts them down until she can actually kill the one that killed her mom, but she hasn't been able to. So she has to, and of course, she has to keep it a secret. The only problem is it's even worse though because she is a woman in the 1800s, so her father is pushing her to find a husband and get married and make babies. But she realized that she can't do that, and and now she no longer wants to do that. In fact, not just can't, but doesn't want to do it. And she just found out that she is the title person, the Falconer, that she's destined to kill them. So my first thought about when I was reading this book is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It reminded me of Buffy, except for set in Scotland 1800s. But the whole idea of being chosen to slay a type of monster and having to keep it a secret, because in the first season she's supposed to keep it a secret, but then her Willow and Xander, her friends, find out about it, and that's how they become friends. But she has to keep it a secret from her mom, and her mom doesn't understand. But I do imagine she has it a lot easier than Eilina, because she's a modern woman she doesn't have to wear dresses, she doesn't have to go searching for a husband, she has to focus on her schooling, which is hard, of course, and not easy either, but I think Eilina has more problems than Buffy did. And at least Buffy's mom did love her. That's the other conflict, is that her dad, Eilina's dad, does not show affection to her. And I'm guessing he knows that she's of adult age, so he has to find her husband. I think that's why he's paying attention to her all of a sudden. But I'm beginning to suspect that he blames her for her mother's death. I mean, they don't say it, but that's what I'm thinking, that maybe the characters have a conversation, or maybe they won't. But that's my belief, that he blames himself. Not himself, he blames his daughter for his wife's death. Which I do not get that logic. Because how can a child, unless the child is psychotic, I don't think a child can kill their parent. I mean, even if the parent dies in childbirth, like on the Song of Ice and Fire series, Tyrion, the mom, Tyrion, Tywin's wife had died giving birth to Tyrion. So Tyrion has been blamed for her death, but there's other more complicated reasons why he resents Tyrion, why Tywin resents Tyrion. But it's not Tyrion's fault. He did not actually kill his mom. I guess it's easier to do that for some people, for some parents. I just don't understand it. And the dad just really pisses me off in this book so far. I don't like him. But he's I don't understand that logic, basically. And now I could be wrong there, but that's the only thing I can think about the way the dad treats her. And it's even more frustrating because as the audience, as the reader, we of course know that she has to hunt these fae, and she has responsibilities and has more important things to worry about than looking pretty and impressing a man. But of course her father does not know that, and she can't really tell him either. But yeah, and I think the author has established the love triangle. I'm not sure, but it looks like it because there are two guys. There's the guy who's kind of become her mentor, and he's a fae himself, and he hunts his own kind. And of course he's the bad boy. And he's the one that she shouldn't be attracted to, but she is. But then there's also the guy who is like the guy she's known since she was a kid. He's really sweet and everything. A little bit of a teases her a little bit, and he is the brother of her best friend. So it's like my first thought is, oh, let me guess, this is gonna be the love triangle. The author's gonna do a love triangle. Surprise, surprise. Although this is an old book, this is like, I want to say it came out in 2013. Let me see if I can find the copyright date. Yeah, 2013. So it's early 2000s. Well, I mean, not that early, not like 2000 or 2001, but 2013, where people were still like around the Twilight era of things, when love triangles were a big thing. And, you know, authors kept doing them. But authors are starting to realize that people don't like love triangles. Like I said, I'm still going to enjoy this book and keep reading and everything. But I definitely don't love the love triangles either. But I'm okay with them. I still roll my eyes at them, of course, but obviously. So I'm gonna read this one. I'm definitely gonna read today. I don't know how much I'm gonna read, but like I said, I want to try to get this one done by the end of the month. And if I really set my mind to it, it looks like a book that I could do that, because I want to squeeze in another book for the month. The booktuber I just watched, not like yesterday, just watched, but a few days ago I watched, and their goal is also 100 books. And they said that you have to read like 12 books a month to get to 100. And I don't think I'm going to do that, but I'm still going to aim for the goal of 100 books for my reading challenge. I'm still going to do that, but I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm devastated and upset if I don't get it. I'll be maybe a little disappointed in myself, but I figure I can set the goal again next year for 100 books. Because, and also, I know it's my own fault. I mean, I have no one to blame but myself. I let myself get distracted, and I choose not to read all day. You know, I don't do 24-hour reading binges or anything like that. As much as I love reading, I love TV and getting lost on YouTube videos just as much. So, it's my own decision, my own fault, if I don't always choose to read books. So this one I'm definitely gonna read today. Probably like 4 chapters. Okay, I'll put those on the floor. So I also feel like I need to read this one, so I have more to say on this one. So my Stephen King project, I'm still reading this down, so I don't have anything really to report. But I did read a tiny bit during my 15-minute breaks the last couple days. That's why I definitely want to read this one today. I've been on book 2. I just started as in book 2, because it's in this book. And we are still with Nick. We are still with the character of Nick, the guy who is deaf mute. And he has run into this guy named Tom Cullen, he's not very intelligent. And he can't comprehend a lot of things. So Nick is kind of debating if they should stick together or not, because he thinks that, because of course, you know, Nick is deaf mute, and this guy is, I hate to use this word, but this is a word that's used in the book, he's retarded. He's described as retarded. And like I said, I hate to use that word, but that's the word that's in the book, and I don't know what other word to use to explain this guy, because, again, like I said, he's not very intelligent up here, and he doesn't comprehend things. And Nick's first thought is the two of them couldn't really do much for each other, that they're gonna, you know. But at the same time, Nick feels really bad about leaving this guy, and I personally feel like Nick at least could help Tom, help him survive. And I imagine Nick's thinking the same thing, because the part I just read is Nick has decided to stick with this guy after all, and he tries to communicate to him, why don't you come with me? We'll leave together. because he doesn't want this guy to get left behind. And I think the guy is very sad because everybody he knows have left him, like either have died or left town. So I don't have much to report on this one. I'm hoping to get this done before the cruise in June. So my goal is to get this read by June, but I don't know if that will happen or not, because I don't want to bring this particular one with me in the cruise. I don't know which books, but like I said, I get 3 or 4 months away. I mean, there's well, I guess not, since this month is almost over. I guess it'll be 3 months away. So I don't want to get that. I don't want to be bringing this one with me. I mean, I might. What would probably happen is I still, even if I wasn't finished with it, I still wouldn't bring it with me. I would bring different books. But I keep thinking about like how many books I'm gonna bring when I go there. My friend is gonna, of course, there's so much to do on a cruise, and then my friend is gonna be with us. My mom said I can invite her, so I don't know. I might not get a lot of reading done, but I'm still gonna bring books because I'm a reader, and that's what we do. Is that even if we don't get around to a book, we always have a book with us. So next is I want to read a little bit more of Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. It was translated by a woman. I did not know that. So I'm finally starting to get a little bit more into it. Book 2. Book 1 was really slow. Again, this is another one where it's divided into a bunch of individual books. Which I think that's how authors wrote a lot, like, because they would write in installments that would be published. Or if it was just a novel, they would just happen to write a lot because they got paid by the word. But like I know that Dickens, because he would publish his stories in newspapers, particularly his own newspaper, because I think he did have a newspaper called the Pickering or something, like the one that's mentioned is in one of his books. So he was an author that would publish his books in installments. That's why his books are so long. But in the same thing with and then like Conan Doyle, he would also publish in installments, although he writes short stories. So this is getting really interesting now. Like, our main character, whose name I still don't remember how to pronounce. I keep asking my dad, and then I forget. Like, the shorter names I remember better, but the longer names, like the main character and his friend's name, I keep forgetting how to pronounce their names. But, so he had just murdered, he was a former student that is in debt, and he came up with a scheme to murder a female pawnbroker, and he kept debating it in the beginning, but then he ends up doing it, ends up killing her, and I don't know if he actually stole from her or not. I'm assuming he did, and then he also killed her sister, but then the next morning he starts getting sick. Now I don't know if it's because maybe the guilty feelings are affecting him or something. And he starts going a little delusional. He's a little crazy, and I think part of it could be that he's afraid of getting caught. Because he's obsessed with hiding all the evidence that he did it. And he even, while he's still a little delusional, he goes to his friend, who at first does not realize what's up, but then his friend decides to figure out what's going on and finds out that he is sick, so he starts taking care of him. And he and another friend of theirs, or something, I don't know what role this guy plays, but the two of them are talking while they're visiting our main character, and talking about the murder, and that they got a suspect in custody who lives in the same building as the female pawnbroker. And of course, our main character is kind of nervous that they're going to suspect that it's him. They're going to figure out it's him. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But like I said, I'm really getting in. I started getting into it. I'm definitely intrigued if they're going to find out that he's the murderer. Is he going to end up in jail and maybe some of the book is going to take place there? I don't know. But this is one of those books that I can't read right before bed. That's for sure, because then I'll fall asleep. I won't get very far in the book. So I'm going to read this today. Some more of this one today as well. Now, the book I'm least far into is The Essex Serpent. I'm going to read this as well the next two. And when I say today, I also mean not just today, but the next. I also mean Thursday as well, unless I can call in on Thursday, which I could potentially, because that is discount day for the seniors in this town at our Harris Theater. They get like 5% off, I think, if you're 60 and above in age. So that usually becomes our busiest day, one of our busiest days. So they could potentially call me, knock on wood, that doesn't happen. So like I said, this is one that I haven't gotten very far in this one. And I don't know if I'll get to all these books in the next 2 days, though, because this is a lot of books. But these are the ones I'm thinking about reading in the next 2 days. I haven't got very far. Our main character, Cora, has gone to this little village of Essex, where we're just slowly being introduced to the characters. And the two guys from her own town she's invited them to come to Essex. And we've met the vicar, William, and we've met his children. And we haven't been established yet that his feelings on the Essex Serpent, but from the description on the front flap, we know he doesn't like people leaving in superstition and stuff like that. Because of course he's a vicar, he's a man of God, and he would rather, he wants people to believe in God and not superstition. And I don't, like they mentioned this one, Cora is exchanging communications with this one woman who has the same last name as the vicar. And I don't know if she's his sister or his wife, because he does have, like I said, he does have a son, daughter, and although I think maybe this person that she mentioned in her letter was this guy Charles, maybe he's her husband and William is her brother, because I thought William was going to be the love interest, and I don't want this to turn into like a story about cheating, I don't want them to have an affair kind of situation. So I don't know what's going on there. But I definitely want to read this one because I want to get to this one. Because I've been holding off on that one for a while, so I'm going to read that one today as well. Or I might read that one today as well. And then the last book I might read today is I need to start getting into reading a little bit more of Neil Gaiman's The American Gods. I've been meaning to get to this one. Get back into it, I should say, because I've read a little bit of it already, and I've gone farther than I did last time I started this one. Where our main character, Shadow, has been approached by Mr. Wednesday to join him, and he's also been approached by one of the gods, one of the modern gods. And that's what is his deciding factor for when he agrees to help Mr. Wednesday, I think. There's not much to report on what happens in this book so far, except for the fact that he is joining Mr. Wednesday. And I think the spirit of his wife that died approaches him too at one point. He sees her, And I think that's also a deciding factor too. So that is my reading. That's going to be my reading for the next 2 days. I don't know how many of these I'm going to get to. But some of them I'm going to read more so than others. So I can, like I said, I want to get the Falconer done by the end of the month. Sorry, I have itchy spots. Like my head, and that makes me think I should not have skipped washing it. That's the problem, is like I try not to wash my hair every time I take a shower, but then it will start itching the next day. So apparently my hair is really, really greasy. So what, I guess that's all I gotta say. Like I said, I just wanted to tell you guys what I'm gonna be reading on these next 2 days while I'm off. And I have no idea how to make a vlog. So I would. I have two of my best friends will be coming into town in May. So if they know how to do it, I might ask them to help me start doing vlogs. So if you want to, feel free to share to me what you are currently reading. Would love to know. And as always, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and click the bell icon below to get notified when I post more videos. And also, and of course, give a thumbs up if you like this video. And I hope you are enjoying your reading, and I will talk to you guys all later. Alright, bye!